Why can't you stop replaying that conversation from 3 years ago? Why does your mind keep dragging you back to moments you can't change? The answer isn't what you think. Your mind keeps dragging you back to the past for one reason. It's trying to change something that already happened. Sounds crazy, right? But Buddha, Alan Watts, and Ram Dass all discovered this same truth. And once you see it, everything shifts. I'm Ananda, and today, through Buddha, Alan Watts, and Ram Dass, we are going to show you why your mind does this and how to finally break free. Here's what nobody tells you about thinking about the past. Every time you replay that conversation, that mistake, that moment of regret, your nervous system believes it's happening right now. Your brain cannot tell the difference between remembering a painful event and experiencing it, which means you're not thinking about the past. You're literally re-traumatizing yourself in the present moment. The Buddha made an observation that sounds simple but is absolutely radical. The past is not a place you can visit. It's a thought you're having now. Think about it. When you remember yesterday, where is that memory? It's not back there in time. It's here, as electrical impulses in your brain happening right now. So here's the mind bender. You're not haunted by the past. You're haunted by your current thoughts about the past. The argument you had 3 years ago? Over. Done. Dissolved. The person you were then no longer exists. Every cell in your body has been replaced. The other person has changed too. Even the room where it happened has different air molecules. But you keep recreating it, like a movie you won't stop playing. Buddha would ask, who is pressing play? And more importantly, who can press stop? Here's where it gets wild. Alan Watts noticed something that changes everything. When you obsessively think about the past, you're not actually remembering. You're rehearsing. You're mentally replaying it with the fantasy that this time you'll say the right thing, do it differently, make it turn out okay. Your mind is literally trying to time travel backwards to fix something. And because it can't, it keeps running the simulation over and over, convinced that if you just think about it enough, you'll finally figure out how to change what happened. But here's the kicker. This means the problem isn't the past. The problem is your inability to accept that you can't control it. Watts would say, you keep returning to the scene of the crime because you refuse to believe the crime actually happened. The obsessive thinking is your ego's way of saying, "No, I reject this reality. It should have been different. The past isn't the prison. Your refusal to accept it is the prison." Now Ram Dass brings in something that completely shifts the game. He'd point out, the version of the past you keep thinking about isn't what actually happened. It's your ego's edited version, designed to maintain your identity story. Think about a painful memory. Notice how you're always the victim or the hero in your version. Notice how you've edited out the parts that don't fit your narrative. Notice how you've simplified complex situations into, "This is what they did to me," or "This is how I failed." That's not memory. That's mythology. And you keep returning to it because your ego needs that story to exist. If you're the one who was wronged, you get to be righteous. If you're the one who failed, you get to stay safe by not trying again. Ram Dass would say, the past isn't holding you hostage. Your attachment to a particular version of yourself is holding you hostage. You're not haunted by what happened. You're haunted by who you've decided you are because of what happened. So why can't you stop thinking about the past? Not because it was traumatic, not because it was important, but because your nervous system thinks it's still happening. Your ego refuses to accept it can't change it. And because your identity is built on your interpretation of it. Now here's the truly liberating part. The moment you fully accept that the past happened exactly as it did, and you can't change it, and the you who experienced it no longer exists anyway, something magical occurs. The obsessive thinking stops. Not because you've healed it, or processed it, or understood it fully, but because your mind finally accepts there's nothing to fix. The simulation can end. Now here is the question that changes everything. Next time you catch yourself replaying the past, ask this: am I trying to change what happened? Or am I willing to accept what happened? If you're trying to change it, that's the trap. You'll think about it forever. If you're willing to accept it, even if it was terrible, even if it was unfair, the thinking naturally dissolves. Acceptance doesn't mean it was okay. It means you stop arguing with reality. And here's the final twist. The person you were then made the only choice they could make with the consciousness they had at that moment. They literally couldn't have done it differently with the awareness they possessed. So forgive them, not because they deserve it, but because they never had a choice. Neither did the other people involved. Everyone was acting out their conditioning, including you. The past can't trap you, but your insistence that it should have been different absolutely can. Let it be what it was, and discover who you are without that story defining you. If your mind just cracked open a little, if you suddenly see the trap you've been in, you're ready for more of this. Every week, I synthesize the deepest teachings from Buddha, Alan Watts, and Ram Dass into insights that actually change how you live. Not philosophy, but actual transformation. Subscribe now, hit the bell, and stop letting your past steal your present. Share this with someone who needs to finally break free. I'm Ananda. The past is a story you keep telling. You can tell a different one, or stop telling stories altogether.